Welcome back to the channel. So our jato has some transmission issues. It's a little crunchy in there. So we're gonna have to figure out what it's all about. So we're gonna take care of it, fix it, make it a little better hopefully. So to remove the transmission, first thing we're gonna do, remove these bolts right there, these 6. And if you have it, that screw right there. Then we'll pop off the whole back assembly. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Be right back. Oh yeah, and after you take off this bolt, take off this one for your brake lever. Okay, now I'll be back. Next, we remove these screws for your camber link, and then rotate your drive shafts so you can get that screw in there, so you can remove your drive shafts from this unit. So let's do that first. That one, and then that one. And I like to put the grub screws back just so you don't lose them. Same thing with the screws back into your rear bulkhead. Now what we're gonna do is remove these 2 screws, 2.5s, and these 2 screws. Also, we remove these 2 screws. So let's go ahead and take care of those 6 screws. Now remember here, this is a tongue and groove deal right here. This piece here overlaps, so I'm just trying to rip it or yank it off. This comes off, rotating it. See? Rotate, tongue and groove. This is a slot right here. So now that we got that out of the way, then we take care of these hinge pins. Look at that. Yeah, that transmission shot. So let's take off this anti-squat so we can remove the hinge pins and get this entire transmission out. Those screws for the anti-squat right there. Be right back. Alright, screws are out. Remove that bad boy because that's how they sit in there. And this all comes out. The rear diff cover, differential. What is that? And the rear cover, I'd like to leave it there because it's connected to the other hinge pins. So let's grab this base, move it over there. Now let's look at this. I don't get it. What is this? Look, what the, oh my god. Okay, I think I'm gonna blow a head gasket. Let's remove the E-clip, the brake disc, calipers, so we can get that screw out, this one out, and this one, in order to separate this housing, and then finally blow the head gasket when I see a little bit better in there. Wow, talk about. Okay, let's go ahead and do the brake stuff first. Be right back. Alright, so you take out the E-clip, take out your disc, take out your adapter, and your pin. Right there. E-clip, disc brake, adapter, pin. And now 1 screw, 2 screws, 3 screws, because this whole thing is screwed. Just take care of that. Man, we're gonna clean this. We just look at that gunk inside there. All right, let's just separate this. Let's get it over with. Rip it off like a band-aid. All right, take care of the screws. Let's open this bad boy up. Okay, the moment of truth. Let's open this bad boy up. Oh wow. Oh wow. Alright, let me use both hands. There she is. That has got to be the material along with whatever grease. Just caked up right in there. If you guys have any idea of how this could have happened, leave a comment below. So let's go ahead and take out this shaft here. One-way bearing. Your washer. Make sure you cleat that. This goes into a bearing in here. That hopefully the bearing isn't locked up. Alright. Got your pin. Wow. Let's go ahead and take off the spur gear, slipper clutch, so you can take off these gears here. One moment. Once that's removed, take out your little pin that your slipper clutch slides into in the back. That pin right there. Slide off the primary shaft. There's a spacer here. I'm gonna keep that. This has most definitely seen better days. The 2-speed housing, typically broken. It's beyond me, ladies and gentlemen. It's beyond me to get something like this. It really is. We're gonna open this up, check it out, possibly, maybe not, because we're gonna replace all this. I'm glad I got the whole 9 yards in order to replace it. But we'll be right back with the repair. But first, let's clean this all up, get it ready. You have it out, clean it. Take your bearings out, clean the whole 9 yards, put it in there correctly. This is just sad. It really is. Alright, let's go ahead and clean up the housing. Be right back with the new parts so we can put it all back together. Kind of like a little how-to video. Alright, be right back, guys. I know I say that a lot, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, so we cleaned everything out. I got some of this gunk scraped out so we can see how nasty that was. May not look so much on screen, but it was a lot. It is a lot. So we got our housings cleaned up, just like it should be. Cleaned up the bearings, got them all set and run. Now we're going to take care of the differentials. So I found this cheapest on the Amazon website. It's the cheapest place I found these. Hardest Steel 2-speed gear set. So we're going to go ahead and make this transmission a whole lot better. So let's open up this package and get everything set apart so we can start getting it done. Alright. So the first thing we do is remove that grub screw right there on your primary shaft. And the grub screw that comes in this set. So you can present that grub screw to take out the space of this one. It's a 1.5mm driver. Let's go ahead and take care of that. I'll show you these gears in a second so you can see how bad that was. Put them in there. Line them up. There we go. Line up the slots. Now let's get this tightened up. Keep your spacer on there. Now, one gear may not look so bad, but the rest, that got eaten up too. And this is a metal gear. Not so pretty. Not so pretty. This one was alright. This, yeah, no boy, no. Alright, next, I'm gonna deal with this assembly. So we're gonna take out this gear. It's got the washer at the end, because we have to assemble that with this one. This gear was just horrible. This is your 2-speed unit, which goes with this. Go ahead and remove this pin, this bearing, this gear, to then put your 22 hot racing gear. Slide that onto the pin. There we go. Put your bearing back. And your pin. Set aside. 2-speed unit. Remove. There we go. Of course it's gonna fall. But you know how it works. That's how it is. Life goes on. Nothing breaks. And then we slide in the unit in this one. Same orientation. The peg comes up like this. You see the peg comes up like that, which grabs here or here in this housing. So that's how she goes in, nice and snapped into place. Go ahead and put this back onto the shaft here where that pin is. Pin side to this side. Rotate clutch assembly to really seat it in there. If not, just double check, because I'm an OCD kind of person and I kind of don't like the way that fit in there. So let's push that back out. Okay, good to go. Now, here have this unit. So obviously I need to take out the E-clip. This pops out this way. No, take out the E-clip so it can pop out this way. Slide into the 32 tooth hardened steel one and get this taken care of. So let me go grab my set. I'll be right back. These come very handy. Found them at an auto parts store. It was on sale. Well, my wife found them actually. They were $5. You cannot beat that. So go ahead and get the proper bits to remove that snap ring. Now this gear is actually intact, but I want to put the hardened one since, you know, we got the whole kit. So we'll save this gear and give it to a buddy who may need it. So let's go ahead and get this snap ring out. Let's change this. Alright. Do this on the bench just to make it a little bit easier for me. You know how it is. Things are supposed to be easy, sometimes are the hardest ones. There we go. Snap ring out. Pop this out. Pop it into the new one. Make sure it's seated correctly. Now let's get our snap ring back on there. This is crucial. You want to make sure it fit into the channel correctly. I always like to give it a good squeeze here like this, just to make sure it didn't expand too much or anything like that. And now the slap ring is useless. So this is just, again, my OCD. Beautiful, beautiful. Take the gear, put in that one, put in your washer, and that is just about ready to get installed. So let's get these out the way. And let's grab some grease. Let's see if we zoom you in here a little bit more. Yeah, let's set up the camera for you guys. There we go. Let's go ahead and get that installed better for you. So what do we need? You use some high temp ball bearing grease or anything like that. I'm going to use the Traxxas thrust bearing grease. So, assembly. This is your exhaust side, brake side. I like to set this in there first. And just dab up on a couple sections the grease. Because it's steel, too much would actually not be good, creates extra friction. Too little, they overheat. And just because it's hardened steel doesn't mean that it won't mess up. This will distribute itself as it spins at God knows how many RPMs. Now let's slide this into this channel here. Get it lined up with the gears. Make sure it sits in where it should on the bearing. There we go. As you see, the grease distributes itself. Let's see, that's good enough. Let's see, that gear on the inside, is that good enough? Maybe just a hair more down and get a little bit deeper into the channel. There we go. Now, spacer's still in there. We slide up the rest of our housing right into the shaft here. And that is it. Make sure it's nice and snug. Put these screws back in. This is hobby, so you know, you give yourself some time to enjoy this process. I like to tighten everything in a cross fashion. So if we're going to do this one, let's go ahead and do this one. We snug them up first and then we tighten them. Heard that snap? Everything's falling into place. And we get this top one. Make sure that this is gonna get okay snug. So we'll tighten up the other one here. Snug, snug, snug. Maybe too snug. It's just a hair back. Just a hair back. Just a hair back. That's a little better. The transmission spins like this. So let's go ahead and get the spare gear and the clutch assembly in there. Put your pin in here and slide that all back. Boom. Slide this onto there. Your spring and the nut. Let's go ahead and just hand tighten for now. Maybe I need to tighten it up some more. Yeah. Let's go ahead and grab our, I believe it's a 7 because this is an 8. Yep. So let's grab our 7 from the kit. And that's what we're doing to this bad boy. Hardened steel clutch set. The link will be in the description. What I do with this, I tighten down until it stops. And I give it almost a full turn back, or 1 full turn. And that should give it just the right amount of tension you want. Okay. This looks nice. I'll double check. Let me clean this table up, get everything good, and we'll go ahead and be right back. Alright, don't forget to tighten up your screws, 2 screws that go in here, the one that goes into this slot and to the bottom slot, because I did, that's why this wasn't spinning. But now we have a good clean, well, except for the grease I just put in there, transmission with the hot racing hardened steel kit. Now installation is just in reverse. Ready to go. Now we're gonna install everything else. This is a good time to do the spring in your calipers. Take an old pen, take out the spring, cut it in half, put it there, so whenever you release the brake, it releases the calipers from the disc. Kind of helps eliminate drag. So let's go ahead and put this bad boy back together, starting with the back plate. Just give me a moment. Well, before we put this back together with the back plate, see, it got so excited putting new stuff in, forget a crucial process, the differential. So we opened it up. There's a little O-ring right here, a little blue O-ring like it is in the shocks. It goes inside here, and then we put the shaft, put some more grease, get your planetary gears going. Those go into these slots right here. And then we'll take out this other shaft and seal. So when I get to do this one, I'll be right back. Let me grease these bad boys and drop them in. That's the little O-ring I was telling you about that goes into each section. So we put in the other output shaft. This is the other output shaft that goes into this housing, and it gets a Teflon washer in between the O-ring and the gear. So let's go ahead and grease this up, slide it all in, close that all up. I'm using the factory screws because they're 2mm. I like that rather than 1.5 that comes in the kit. But of course we're going to put the gasket on when we go to seal this up. So let's go ahead and take care of that. Such a shame that the prettiest part gets enclosed inside the differential. Yeah, buddy. Why do that? They need to start making see-through cases or something, you know, transparent cases. Now let's put this together and get the bearings in, one on each end. There you go. There you go. This with a rear car, you want the side that says HR 38 to the passenger side. That sits in there like so. You see that? Just dropped right in. Yeah, buddy. Now let's see if it needs a little bit more grease, just to make sure everything is taken care of, and then we're going to go ahead and put the back plate on and close this up. So let's go ahead, let's do that. And there it is. So sad that gets blocked up. That's the only thing you're gonna know that it's in there. Everything else, prettiest parts, tucked away. All right, let's get the hinge pins into these slots on the control arms and put everything back together in a reverse fashion as I showed you guys to put it in or remove it. It's been a long day. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with that. All right, let's do this. Hopefully it doesn't take too long because I'm pretty sure this is as long in a video as it is, but I wanted to do a little how-to, you know, to really get this going and you guys to understand how to do it step by step so you can save money doing it yourselves. So these pins go into these slots. Numero uno. Slide that there. Now let's slide it here. There we go. And then you get your anti-squat bad boy. This one says 2.25 degrees. Slide that, these slots right in there. About time to get a new one. This is a restoration, so not surprised. That one in there. That one in there. And now let's tighten them up. There we go. Come on now. You're happy in your position. There we go. Next. All right. Remember, stops, quarter turn. Don't over tighten. Same thing with the transmission case. You don't want to over tighten it. It can cause excess strain and it won't spin properly. Okay, now take out these screws. Remember, I put everything back where they came out just so I know where they go. This again, tongue and groove. If you can't get it in, and I did this on purpose, if you can't get this in and you're fighting with, it's because these screws tightened all the way. So let's go ahead and loosen them up a bit. Not much, maybe a quarter of the way out, just to give ourselves, like I always say, a little bit of wiggle room. Grab the section, you tilt back to get it in there. Hopefully you guys can see it. Slide it in. And that's it. Then you tighten up these screws again. If not, it'll break. Your strut tower, body mount, everything is gonna break. Then you gotta buy that. No, we're gonna just buy what we need. If it's broken, or like in this case, it was broken, but I'm not one too big on upgrading unless it's functional. In this case, it's highly functional to have a hardened steel transmission set, because these cars, they go quick, they got quite a bit of power for what they are, and ends up breaking the 2-speed housing or the catastrophe that we saw today. So if it's something like this, like your brakes, transmission gears, stuff like that, then yeah, I don't mind getting hardened steel or aluminum to upgrade it. Now, put these bad boys in, the screws that I put in there, and then we put in these to take it from there. Let me go ahead and install that. These screws, make sure that slides in good, and then I'll be right back. I don't want to bore you with way too much. I'm sure this is long enough. Give me a minute. Alright, to install this, you want to set up the bottom screws. Get this situated first, and at least these 2 screws, or these 2 screws in, or the engine mount screws in slightly, so it can keep it in place. Then you can align it with that top hole right there, that slot right there, that top hole right there. To get it in there, that little nipple right there. Camera focus. That little nipple right there that's blurry in the screen, that slides into that slot. right there, so we can align everything up the way it should be. So we're not fighting too much. So let's, oh, sorry, I hit the camera. Let's go ahead and line this up here. Flip it. Get your wings into your control arms. Like that. I got pretty strong hands, so I can kind of hold it like that. And what I'm going to do is set in this motor mount bolt. If it decides to play ball, there we go. And then we'll go ahead and put the bottom ones all the way in the bottom to keep that from sliding around. And this one. Just snug. Now we can go ahead and work this in there. You'll feel it click into place. There we go. That's all she wrote. Let me double check. Use this screwdriver in the slot where the screw goes. That's what I used to wiggle it around to kind of get it up, set up. There we go. And pops right in, and we can get our screw in there. So let's go ahead and take this off. Brand new air filter already got 30 without being used. Oh my god! Sometimes it sucks having OCD, and I keep hitting the camera. One thing I forgot, the most important part of this brake system, your E-clip. Look, this brakes are non-existent without the E-clip. Apologize for the lighting. How everything has not worked out in my favor today, but that's usually how it is. Let's go ahead and get the rest of these screws in here. I still need a spur gear. I'm highly debating on getting the hardened steel spur gear as well, 58 tooth. You guys let me know what you think about doing that, or just stick with old Plastico. And if they go bad, just $3, buy another one. Or you guys think going hardened steel as well on the spur gear, like I did with the transmission, is a good deal. Because I wouldn't mind upgrading that to hardened steel so it can last longer, but it does sharpen up the edges on the clutch bell and on the steel gear. It points them out. Takes a while to do that, especially the use I give these RCs, but it does happen. Then you'd have to buy both the spur gear and the clutch bell. Plastic's so good, even though if you're gonna bash it, change the tires and play around, if something happens, it just strips the spur gear like this one got stripped, and it doesn't mess up anything else. What's your idea on that? What's your opinion? I'm kind of like on the fence. To be honest, I'd be happy either way, as long as I can get it running. And I'm waiting for the one-way bearing to get here, so I can go ahead and put that in. So then we can do a break-in and I am going to run this one. So let's go ahead and get your brake assembly. Let's put the throttle return spring back, and it's a nifty little slot that they built for us. As soon as I can grab, there we go. Little pliers I got at Harbor Freight. Of course, everything wants to be in the way. There we go. Now's your turn. Now you can be in the way. Let's take out our shoulder bolt. 2.5 driver. And present you there. I believe there's a some type of a hack to get the brake to engage stronger. I don't know if it was done to this RC already, but I'll look into it. Again, this is used. So far we got a new piston and sleeve, a new header, the new carburetor from an old build that immediately was taken off a brand new engine for OS 11K carb. The block was redone. New switch so we can charge it up. It's got the 5-channel TSM gyro receiver. Hardened steel gears we just installed. This is a 22 tooth clutch bell. We need a spur gear. And someone was laughing at the car because of the wheels it had on it, so we're going to take care of that. We got the spacers that I think we need. It's supposed to come for the front wheels, but we'll take care of that in a later video. But that's all there is, ladies and gentlemen, to get yourself an upgraded, much better, stronger transmission for your jato. This restoration is coming too. Gonna get an exhaust hanger. You know, it's not perfect, but it's mine. So I'm gonna go ahead and little by little bring her back to life and run her. I'm excited that we got this rear end in here. I'm excited to see what it's gonna run, what it's gonna look like, what it's gonna sound like, how the gears are gonna handle. They're smooth. Don't over tighten your screws for the housing of your transmission case. Too tight, it will cause tension on the gears. Okay, just snug it up. That's all there is to it. But that is for today's video, series number 4 on the jato restoration process. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please like, comment, subscribe, tell a friend. Even some pointers to see if I can give you guys better videos. At the end of the day, I want to enjoy this, and I want you to enjoy this. Thank you as always. Stay safe out there.